Welcome to Bettering Our Community. My name is Suzanne Bernier Robinson. Today we're going to be talking with some representatives from the American Red Cross Blood Services. I have with me today John Peterson.
Good morning.
He's the manager of donor recruitment.
Yes.
And also Paul Bergeron. He's a field representative for American Red Cross.
Good morning.
Glad to have you here today.
Thanks for having us.
I want to start off a little bit about just as a blood donor, what the process is if I decide to donate blood. How long does it take, the process?
Sure, very good question. And we have a lot of donors that are either first-time donors, regular donors, or people that donate maybe once or twice a year. So everybody kind of builds up their own schedule. But it's very important the night before to get a good rest, drink plenty of fluids, nutritious fluids, and come prepared with any travel that you've had or any medicines that you're on, because you do go through kind of a mini physical, and they'll ask you those questions.
The whole process probably, I know I've donated blood for a number of years, so I know the process to actually get the blood donated is 10, 15 minutes,
sure.
Maybe. There's always a push to try to get a record. I know some people do it really very, very quickly. But the whole process is how long?
Probably about 45 minutes it'll take. Again, that's that mini physical I mentioned, plus the questions that they ask you about travel, medicines. But the actual donation, the needle in the arm, is about 10 minutes, a little less than 10 minutes of that. Okay,
and there, I know there's numerous blood drives. What is the best way to find one if someone is searching they want to donate some blood and they want to find a drive that's local to them?
Sure. That's, we have a website, redcrossblood.org, or they can call 1-800-RED-CROSS to get that information. But the website is up to date and the most accurate.
Okay, so they can go on your website, redcrossblood.org, and then just look through.
Yep, they ask you to put in your zip code,
and
then it'll come up with blood drives in your area. And donors also get a mailer at the beginning of each month that'll list the donation sites that they have coming up.
I just got one yesterday in the mail.
Perfect. For January?
For January. So why don't you tell us about that blood drive that's going on in January?
Sure. That's the Derry Police blood drive, and Paul works with the police very closely. So,
yeah, we've been. I've been with the Red Cross for 7 years, so this will be. We do twice a year with them. We do a winter blood drive. We used to do it on Christmas Eve prior to me, and then we had an ice storm one year. And in Derry, and pretty much Derry was all shut down, and so we had to cancel the blood drive, and we moved it to January, and ended up being so much more successful. So now we're running the drive after the major holidays. So it's on Friday, January 24th, and it's from 11 to 6 p.m. at Promises to Keep on Rockingham Road. And our goal there is 300 pints. So our average drive is about 40 or 45 pints, I would say.
That is a big difference.
Yeah.
What makes that one so much larger than these other drives?
It's just complete community involvement from the police. We've actually collected as much as, we did 430 pints the year after that ice storm. The community totally came out. But it just has such a good reputation. It has great food. It's the who's who of Greater Derry, basically. The police folks are there. The Derry CERT people are there. People from the Chamber of Commerce, the town council. So it's kind of a who's who. So it's really a fun event. Now that's an event where you would come and say, well, you're probably going to be there about an hour and a half or maybe even 2 hours, because you'll see people you know and you'll be talking, and we just have the best food on top of it, and so it's a fun event. How
many years have you been doing the
When I started in '94, and it was established then. And,
wow.
It was Officer Bob. He was the community service person. I don't remember his last name, but there were stories about it was held at an auditorium in Derry. I'm not that familiar with Derry, but
well, Pinkerton Academy has a couple.
Yeah, it was somewhere right on Main Street, but there were lines out the door and down the sidewalk, and people would be out singing Christmas carols. It was always Christmas Eve, so it was a community event way back then, and it's just continued and grown and grown.
Okay, so we know it's been going on for quite a few years.
Yep.
How many people? You said 400. Over 400 is what you're expecting this year.
Yeah, our goal is 300. So in order to collect 300 productive pints of blood, we'll need to see probably about between 350 to 400 people.
What do you mean productive pints of blood?
There'll always be some folks who will be deferred for various reasons.
Okay.
So we're probably looking at anywhere from a 10 to 12% deferral, and that would be if somebody might happen to have low iron or you know, might have a cold that day and they still decide to come. So things like that. So there's always a certain percentage of folks that would be deferred the day of the drive. So when John was talking about even preparing for the drive, we do get a lot of folks, it's just a matter of low iron, you know, they haven't eaten the right foods and things. So,
So that's important.
yeah.
And is the age still 18? I was thinking to be able to donate
Yeah, a
blood?
couple of years ago, it dropped down to 16 with parental permission. So
really?
we're
Okay.
getting a lot of young people now coming out to blood drives. And I think you do get a lot of first-time donors and young donors at this drive, too, again, because of the community awareness.
I do think that the police do a great job in advertising and recruiting people to attend the drive.
Yeah, and the Pinkerton students, Mary Ellen Dooley, who's the health occupation teacher, I'm not sure exact title now, is over at Pinkerton. They provide a lot of volunteers for those 2 drives that we do over with the Derry Police also. So that helps. So,
Do you have any idea how many drives you do within the state?
Each day, there's probably as many as 6, plus the blood center is open. So
Okay.
we collect on average about 250 pints of blood a day. So
Is that satisfying the need that you have?
it gets us by. That works
gets
out well.
you
But then
by.
you run into the weather that we had just last week, and all of a sudden, you know, donors can't
You've
come
lost,
out, or
right.
we had a few drives canceled. So then you're recovering. But the key part is there's always blood on the shelves because of the drives that we hold and the donors coming out on a regular basis. The Boston Marathon bombing was a perfect example that donors had been donating a month before and the weeks before that, so that when that happened, blood was on hand for those people.
Very fortunate. What is involved in maybe becoming a site that, say I work for a company that wants to become a site for a blood drive? What is the process? Is there a application process that
Sure,
they have to go
yeah.
through?
We run blood drives anywhere from at high schools, elementary schools, middle schools, businesses, communities,
So you're
pretty
not
much
picky.
everywhere, right? And if you have about 1,000 square feet, then we can come inside pretty much to do a blood drive. We do have a self-contained mobile unit that's booked out pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Very hard to get that. But
yeah. The problem is so many people want us to bring the bus, the donor coach, the self-contained mobile. It's essentially a big motor coach. And we only have one for the whole state. And it's pretty much booked a year out. And so we're always scrambling to try to find dates if somebody says, oh, we'd love to have you come for our special event. So if you think you would like us to come for something like that, we need at least a 6-month notice, but really almost really a year to book that bus out. But what we're really looking for in Derry is we are looking for space. We are not in the town of Derry anywhere close to what we should be based on population. So we have some good sites. We go to the folks over at Hood Middle School, Gilbert Hood Middle School, have really opened up and have helped us. So that's really been fantastic for us. We go to Promises to Keep, but we are looking for a regular site. We go to First Parish in East Derry 4 or 5 times a year, and those folks have been great. But we are looking for kind of a centralized site in Derry that I could go to monthly. So if anybody's listening to this and they say, hey, we have some space that we might be able to use, we'd love to run a regular community monthly drive in Derry, in addition to the special events like the Derry Police Drive. We are currently running at the Londonderry Lions Hall on Mammoth Road. We go there the 2nd Tuesday of every month. And that's primarily for the 8-week donors, the 16-week donors, regular donors who want to donate.
That's what I was going to ask, how often can someone donate? So every 8 or 16 weeks is what?
Based on the procedure that they do. And what's nice about that is the regular blood donor, and of course we like first-time donors there too, but the regular blood donor knows 2nd Tuesday of every month, Londonderry Lions Hall, 1 to 6 p.m. And we'd love to find somewhere in Derry to be able to do that same thing. And I've found that a lot of the donors who have only donated maybe once or twice a year are now donating 3 or 4 times a year because they've got on a schedule over there and they can plan ahead. So,
Well, 1,000 feet doesn't sound like that much space. Is it really?
right,
I mean,
Yeah, it's not that big. I don't know what your space is here, but yeah, it's and then the larger the drives, obviously we need more room, but that can get us probably about a 25-pint blood drive in that amount of space. We're just getting close to introducing a new program that we'll call mini blood drives, where we can go out and collect between 15 and maybe 20 pints of blood.
So maybe a business,
business,
everybody is on board.
Yep.
You know they'll have the afternoon off if they donate blood.
Sure.
Some incentive.
But if you have probably a little less than 100 employees, that you could probably get that much interest to hold the blood drive in that range. You know, obviously be even less space would be required.
Right.
And those would be
But there's no other
popular.
requirements to have the space available and.
Heat in the winter, air conditioning in the summer, obviously electricity, but we bring in a lot of
Do
our
they
own
need to
equipment.
have chairs that can, 30 chairs for people to sit and wait?
That's ideal.
process?
Some places it's just open space. We rent tables and chairs.
Okay,
But
so you're
ideally,
willing to work with anyone that wants to host the event. You're willing to work with them to make sure they've got the space,
Right.
but if they need some additional equipment there, like the chairs or the tables,
Yes.
that you actually will rent that.
and then we have some drives that are strictly space, but then what we're also looking for is space plus a group that'll get out into the community within their own organization and recruit donors. I mean, that helps us out an awful lot. And like you can see with the Derry Police, they're out and about all over town. They're speaking at the schools, everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are looking basically for wide open space is when we're going to a place. We need, and we do all the setup ourselves. So a lot of times people say, well, what does it cost to us holding the blood drive? It's the donation of the space. And if it's a community drive or a closed drive is when we go to a company. Like tomorrow I'll be in Nashua at 200 Innovative Way, and it's a collection of companies at Exit 1. They run their own drive. It's all scheduled. It's a 100% scheduled drive. The folks go online internally at the company and they schedule their drives and they just walk down to the blood drive. And so that's not open to the public. That's specifically for those companies that are in that building. Then we have community drives, and what we're looking for in community drive is, like John was saying, we're looking for sponsorship and promotion. So we would like, if whatever the sponsor group is, to get it in their bulletins or their email blast or their Facebook pages and things, and invite the community in. So many times it's mutually beneficial to organizations too, because they want people a lot of times coming into their buildings from the community and seeing what they're all about.
Right.
And at the same time they're helping us also.
I think that Derry's police department drive is like that because the food is just unbelievable. So a lot of the restaurants and businesses in town have gotten on board to support in that way. And it gives the community members an opportunity to sample some of their foods.
Makes it a real event.
Meatball subs there.
Oh yeah.
I plan my lunch around that time.
Yeah. And John over at Promises and his whole team
He's
over there are
wonderful.
just wonderful folks to work with. They can't do enough for us. So it's a beautiful sight on top of it to go. And this time of year we go, it's decorated nice, and it's just a nice place to go and hold the blood drive. So, yeah.
Well, I hope you have luck in finding another organization, a location in town where you can regularly have drives, because I think that's important.
Sure.
You're right, with people that donate on a regular basis, to know that every second Tuesday, it's going to be at this location.
And another group that we do is with dedicated and memorial blood drives, where it could be a family member that people know, or an employee, somebody in a school who's using blood. Often people want to help in some way, so they organize a blood drive on behalf of that person.
Okay.
That blood doesn't go directly to that patient,
Individual,
but
right,
it helps
because
replace
it's
what they've
going to
used.
be-
And oftentimes, again, in those situations, people want to do something to help out. So we run a number of those type of blood
I
drives.
didn't realize that. You do hear about the bone marrow drives, where people are being tested and for bone marrow, but I didn't realize that they could actually have a special event to raise blood for a particular cause or individual.
Right.
So is that something new?
No, we've been doing those very long. In fact, the Gail Singer Memorial Blood Drive that some people have heard about is one of the largest ones in the country that they hold in August. This was the 37th year.
Okay,
so
so
it's
even the
memorial.
need obviously was met, but they've just
Just carried
continued.
it on, the tradition. Yes.
Yeah, that's the neat part I really think about donating blood is that so many times, like with the bone marrow matches, there's a name to a name and a face to the cause, which is a wonderful thing, and you are going in the bone marrow registry, and we love working with those folks. But specifically, as John was saying, for the blood, it doesn't go, we're not actually collecting on a dedicated or a memorial drive for that certain individual, and that the blood will just go into the blood supply. So many times people will ask us, well, where's the blood going? Is it staying locally? Well, it may be, it might, but it might go wherever it's needed. And, I just think how wonderful that is that, you could donate blood in Derry, New Hampshire, but, it might go to a patient in Massachusetts, or it might go locally, or it might go to Maine. I mean, who knows? So
I think that's understanding that just the blood types vary among individuals so much. So all the blood collected for one particular cause wouldn't go to that. I mean, it's really just replacing the blood that they have used. Yeah. So, is there anything else you'd like to share with us about the recruitment process, or?
The recruitment process has changed an awful lot over the years. People may remember getting postcards and postcards and postcards for us about blood drives, and we've changed that now to get the monthly mailer, which will list up to 8 options that somebody will have. The website's been up and improved. That's another good source to find out where the blood drives are. But we're, again, continually looking to give people more options to donate. We talk about the donors, but on average, people donate less than twice a year. So if we could get everybody to go twice a year, that would almost cut out any shortages that we have throughout the year. Right. So we want to give people more options, find more sites for people, varying hours. When I started, I know we didn't do any Saturdays, and now we have every Saturday full, and people looking for Saturdays.
It's hard to find a Saturday now, yeah.
But we do have them. We encourage groups that, again, that's when a lot of times people are free, is on the weekends. We even do Sunday blood drives. So we've expanded in trying to give people more options.
Making it more convenient. You can't really speed up the process anymore than what you already have, because it's important for them to make sure that they've eaten something and that they're ready to donate. But after you donate, you can't just run off and get back to work. You do need a little bit of downtime. So
yes.
You can't really cut that 45 minutes, much shorter than it is, I think.
Right.
But it sounds like you've really tried to accommodate the donors.
Yeah, and that's why we're trying to go at all different times that would work around people's schedules. And it's very easy to host a blood drive, and I think that's what I would just like to express to people. Sometimes people probably watching today and they're a blood donor, or they thought, oh, maybe I'd like to do that, but I don't have time for that. And I think folks, if they would just contact us at 1-800-RED-CROSS, or go to redcrossblood.org, or certainly even contact the Greater Derry Chamber of Commerce. They have all my contact information, and I'd be happy to meet with folks and explain the process. It's very simple. There's no cost other than donating of the space and the promotion. And now with our links and our online sign-ups, where folks actually can go right online, and once they've decided to become a sponsor, their donors or potential donors can go right online themselves and schedule an appointment. There's links where you can post that to their own Facebook pages and things. So it's actually really cool. I finally have embraced this social media because we've had to, and at first not sure how it was going to work, and it's actually working very well. And we monitor the appointments daily and watch folks go on, and they're scheduling appointments, and then it helps us to plan better so that we're bringing the right amount of staff to a particular drive on a day, knowing, oh, we have strong appointments at this drive. But it's very easy to sponsor a blood drive, and I think so many times people think there's so much more involved. We come in, we set up, we're like roadies. It's like a concert, and like John was saying, we do 5 or 6 blood drives every single day. We just come in and set up. All of a sudden people go, wow, I can't believe how fast you've set up, and we're ready to go. Right. So, and it's very fun, and it's very rewarding, and so many times people do it once, and then they're regular sponsors, and they're, so.
I would think within the companies that may decide to do, maybe just a drive within their company and get 25 or 50 pints, that there's some camaraderie
Absolutely.
that goes on. in a drive like that. Are there any benefits to a business that may want to host a drive that's open to the public? Is there some advertising? I guess you were saying you send out those flyers on a monthly basis. Their names would be listed there as a site. Do you have it posted on your website too? So I guess there could be some
We'll give back on that, sure.
you know, public recognition, I guess, for supporting the community in serving that
Public
way.
service announcements that get out.
Yeah, and we do a lot of, you know, we put up our public service announcements. Obviously, being here today for us is a great opportunity. But we do, you know, Facebook and social media, and then certainly any business or restaurant or somebody that wants to sponsor a blood drive or even donate things to us. A lot of folks will give us coupons for free appetizers at their restaurant, or it might be a particular business that just wants to get people. Sometimes they say, we're kind of looking to get people in the door. Like, we're fine with that. You know, we want you to promote it, and that's another great opportunity for them. Like at the Derry Police Drive, we have a list of everybody that's donated food to us at the drives, and so it's kind of fun when we might have 5 or 6 different pizza places that have donated pizza, and people are trying the different kinds, and so
it's true. And there's talk about town later about
Absolutely.
the food that was at the blood drive.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
it's all part of working together. I
Absolutely,
think, just
yeah.
for a common cause.
Both Paul and I have had the good fortune of working with the Knights of Columbus down in Salem, and for I don't know how many years they've been doing a pasta dinner for their blood drive, and they hold 5 a year.
A
maybe.
pasta dinner.
Yep.
Wow.
So it's everybody knows about it. They know when they're coming, and it's just become a tradition down there. So it's not required, but you know,
No,
just
now
something
I'm
that's
just
event.
thinking through myself, if I was donating a pasta dinner, okay, well, I don't want to eat too much in the afternoon, and yet it's important to eat before you donate blood. So
Yep.
that one would get tricky for me, because I wouldn't want to eat too much.
Yeah, no, they usually serve after. So after the blood drive, after you donate,
Right.
they do. It's really
Right.
it's really incredible, and they really do work hard at it. But you know, back to sponsoring a blood drive, though, we bring our own water and juice and all our snacks and things. So it's very simple, and there's no cost to anybody, you know, other than we're really looking for the promotion of the drive from a sponsor, and obviously their whatever database they may have of potential donors and getting the word out. So.
Okay, so that you would reach out to them in that respect too.
It's
I've
a great
seen-
community service event for your Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts that are looking for community service. We do an awful lot of senior projects now at the high
Okay.
schools where that's a requirement, and the students will run a
Right.
blood drive out in the
Okay.
community.
Now, you must have done some with Pinkerton
Oh, yes.
Academy?
Yep.
Yeah, we hold a big blood drive every year at Pinkerton Academy at the high school for the high school students, and that's early May.
Okay.
And Mary Ellen Dooley over there is the health occupation
Okay.
instructor, and her students, they hold a blood drive, and we collect well over 100 pints of blood there, which is a lot of
Yeah, you
blood.
mentioned.
And in
Okay.
addition to that, they volunteer throughout the year at the Derry Police Drives.
That's what I was
also.
thinking, with all the other service groups that they have through the school, if there were other groups other than Marion.
We're always looking for different groups. So if anybody has anything they want to just come and volunteer, they want to sponsor, you know, call us up, let us know, 1-800-RED CROSS, and you know, let us know what they're thinking of doing. You know, community service hours. It could be anything. We work with a lot of different varied groups, and people enjoy it. You know, at first, people are a little, oh, what did I get myself into? And then they find out, wow, this is fun. When can we schedule another one?
So a drive usually would last, I guess it varies depending if it's more of a company drive. It may just be a couple of hours that you would be there taking the donations, but then with the police drive, is that one maybe such a 4-hour time, or how long are the drives usually?
Generally, the actual blood drive itself is a 5-hour drive.
Okay.
But we will arrive about an hour and a half ahead of time for a setup, and we're there generally about an hour and a half on the tail end to clean up. So I would say to folks, plan for us being on site about 8 hours for a regular blood drive.
That's open to the public?
That's open to the public.
Okay.
But we pretty much, like the Derry Police police drive is something different, and we run a 7-hour drive, but we don't do that on a regular basis.
And for businesses, we're usually there 5 hours also.
So even
to
for a
collect.
business that has maybe 25 pints that you would collect would be about 5 hours?
Just because we send fewer staff, so
I
it
see.
spreads it out, the number of donors
that
they
makes
do
sense.
each.
Yeah, I've seen you clean up. I mean, you're very efficient. Everybody knows what they have to do, and
It's like Paul said, it's like the circus coming to town.
it is.
Yeah, it's really amazing to wire all those computers, and sometimes I'm saying, boy, are we going to be able to start this drive on time? Everything is timed, and everything has to work perfectly. So every once in a while when something doesn't, but it's really very rare that we don't start on time or that we have any problems. So we have good staff. It's really amazing because we just walk into a place we've never been before and go, okay, let's start setting up, and before you know it, we're collecting blood. And
The process is started. Well,
and we're also always looking for volunteers that are interested in helping out at maybe some of the business drives to help us with registration, serve refreshments. So if people are interested in that, they can also call 1-800-RED Cross.
okay. Do you take high school students that are looking for community service hours to maybe do some of those activities?
And again, because of the number of drives we do, there's quite a bit of opportunity for people.
yeah, I actually came to the Red Cross as a volunteer. I ran my own blood drives at my church in Nashua, so I was a volunteer, and then this opportunity came up, and I was hired 7 years ago. But prior to that, I ran my own church blood drives for probably 8 or 10 years prior to that with my dad, and we donated blood and what have you. So it's been very rewarding. So sometimes I have to remind myself, oh yeah, I do work here and get paid.
That's true. Yeah, and churches, I guess, I would think would be a good resource for you.
Absolutely.
For a location.
We go to St. Thomas Aquinas in Derry a couple times a year. The Knights of Columbus sponsor 2 good blood drives there. It's a hard building, the Aquinas Center, to book because of the school, and it's so busy, but we do it on 2 school vacations. April, and we do it over the summer over there also.
Okay.
And then we go to First Parish in East Derry, and those folks are great over there. They ran a drive the other day in the snow for us, so they were good because we very, very rarely cancel because we do need to collect so much, blood per day. But we are looking for additional groups in Derry. So if you're watching this and you've been thinking maybe I want to do this or get more information, certainly give us a call because we really would need to be in this area more.
Well, you've been very informative.
Good.
Thank you for coming in today and sharing with us what is involved.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I hope you've enjoyed learning about the Red Cross Blood Services and the opportunities to not only donate, but to be able to maybe host a blood drive at your location. My name is Suzanne Bernier Robinson. Thank you for watching Derry Community Television.